Bears injury report is out, and not so good news, although I don't think out of the 5 players who did not practice that they're all going to miss this game. We'll talk about that in the second half of this video. My name is Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. There is good news and exciting news, and that is that Caleb Williams was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. We found this out a couple of hours ago, put out a YouTube short, but kind of wanted to just expand on this a little bit more. Obviously had a really good performance against Dallas, albeit a bad defense, but still, what do you want to see your quarterback do against a bad defense? Dominate, and that's what he was able to do for the most part, throwing for almost 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, good decisions, good throws for the most part. Left a few out there, but certainly plenty good enough to win the game and good enough to win the award. And rare territory, right? I mean, Bears quarterbacks aren't winning NFC Offensive Player of the Week very often. I saw it's only the 3rd time since Josh McCown in 2013 that a Bears QB has won the award. Justin Fields actually won it in a losing effort, which is pretty rare. That's when he set an NFL record for 178 yards rushing against Miami in that 2022 season. That was in that chunk when Fields was running wild, but no one had won it since. I couldn't remember if Caleb won it in that Jacksonville game last year in London, but he did not. This is the first time he has won the award, so congratulations to him. I love this even more than I love Caleb winning the award. Ben Johnson was asked about it today and had this to say. He said, he came in completely unfazed by it. I tried to recognize him in front of the group, and he wasn't having it. Very stoic. He's already on to the next game. And you've kind of seen little signs of this with Caleb at the podium and just his mannerisms and his energy early on this season. I think Ben Johnson's intensity and attention to detail has rubbed off on Caleb, and just the importance of, hey, the process, the details, every rep, every day, it all matters. You got to really put a lot into this to get to where you want to go. And, it wouldn't have been a bad thing if Caleb, got excited about getting, recognized in front of the team. But he's locked in. And if you watched, and you had to really pay attention to this, if you watch that little 2-minute video the Bears put out on social media after the win over Dallas, at the very end after Caleb gives Ben Johnson the game ball, the players kind of break up after Ben Johnson does his good, better, best chant. He says, hey, let's keep going, kind of when everybody's rah-rahing. And it's kind of that little detail of like, hey, like we got to do it again. The process starts over tomorrow about winning the game this week. So that gets me pretty excited, man, because you can't, don't get me wrong, in the NFL, you win a game, you celebrate, but it's the old 24-hour rule. We're on to the next. So definitely love seeing that. And shout out producer Cohen for bringing this to my attention. Interesting trend so far. So the NFC Offensive Player of the Week has been in the Bears game every single week. J.J. McCarthy week 1, that was a token award, but he did win it. Week 2, Jared Goff, and then week 3, on the Bears side, Caleb Williams. Well, the Bears play an AFC opponent this week in the Las Vegas Raiders. Does that mean the Bears are a lock to win this game? Now, I did just say Justin Fields won the award in a losing effort, but typically, I'd say 99 times out of 100, the winner of these weekly awards comes from a winning team. So, sounds like the Bears are 2-2 already. Now, that's obviously tongue-in-cheek, but pretty crazy that 3 for 3 so far. Someone from the game the Bears have played in so far this year has won the award, and if that trend continues, that likely means the Bears are going to win on Sunday. In all seriousness, shout out to Caleb. Great game. Hopefully he builds upon it. Show CW some love. Get the 18s going down in the chat to show QB1 some love. Okay, we'll talk a little injury report and a couple new names on the injury report coming up in just a second. But first, got to tell you guys about our friends over at Prize Picks. They are sponsoring today's show. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. There's no better time of year than football season, and I'm firing off Prize Picks lineups every single week, almost every single day. It's very easy to play Prize Picks, as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. You also can use the flex play, which is something Prize Picks invented, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. For week 4, Prize Picks is offering a max discount of more than half a passing yard for Jalen Hurts. I've paired that with Ashton Genty, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Just need him to find the end zone in the ground or catching the ball. That's a goblin play. A little easier to hit those, but I do like him to score this week. And then Rome Odunze, more than 61.5 receiving yards. He's been on a tear so far this year. A little 3-player lineup example for you guys. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, 5 key players on the injury report today. Darnell Wright, who we'll talk about in a second, dealing with an elbow injury. Colston Loveland with a hip. Grady Jarrett with a knee. Now, Jarrett he's missed the last 3 Wednesday practices. He's dealing with a little knee issue. I think, him being a vet too, it's almost like a rest day. So if that trend continues, he'll probably be limited tomorrow. Full go Friday, play Sunday. That would be my guess. Kyler Gordon, TJ Edwards still dealing with the hamstring. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but my guess is they don't play until after the bye week. I think Colston Loveland's the one to watch in terms of it could go either way. I think Darnell will play, and I definitely think Grady Jarrett will play. Let's talk about Darnell Wright, though, because this one wasn't discussed too much coming out of the Dallas game. You could kind of tell he was blocking with one arm at times. You're like, did he bang up his shoulder? Well, he's being labeled with an elbow injury that he definitely played through in the second half against Dallas. There were a few reps where you're like, he's kind of just flailing over there. Something doesn't seem right with his arm. I am curious if Darnell didn't play, and look, I know there's a lot of polarization around Darnell Wright, the penalties at times. It seems like his conditioning might be down. I still think he's a very good player. Now, the penalties have to come down. 6 in 2 games is way too many. But outside of that, he's been pretty good. If he were to sit, I'd be curious if it's Theo Benedict or Ozzie Trapillo, because Trapillo is listed as the backup right tackle, second-round pick, a guy they invested in. But Benedict has been the swing tackle and has gotten some snaps so far this season for various reasons. And he's graded out pretty well in those reps per Pro Football Focus. Over 70 overall, 73.9 in pass blocking situations, 66.9 in run blocking. Has not given up a pressure in 27 snaps. I think only like 10 of those are pass pro, so it's not like it's a ton in that regard. But he has played a few snaps here, and listen, he entered the left tackle competition in the last few weeks of training camp. His arrow was pointing up in the offseason program and has been pointing up ever since because he's been active on game day, whereas Ozzie Trapillo was a healthy scratch in weeks 2 and 3. Listen, you want Ozzie Trapillo to become something and be a starter, but if Darnell Wright is out, I think Benedict's earned the nod. I think he would earn a start here in this spot. You would have Ozzie Trapillo active, then if an injury occurred at right or left tackle, you would switch accordingly. I think if Braxton were to go down, you would slide Theo to left, and then Ozzie would play right if something like that were to happen on game day. But I think Theo Benedict's earned the right to start if Darnell Wright can't go. So that would be my guess. I have a gut feeling Darnell's going to play. One thing you can't question is his toughness. He's played through stuff every single year of his career, and I think he's only missed one game in 37 games. So he's pretty tough, but we'll see how this elbow and this arm situation heal throughout the week. Who should start if Darnell is out? Type TB for Theo Benedict or type OT for Ozzie Trapillo. I think in the short term, Benedict's earned that opportunity, so I'd be typing my TB. Okay, is Kyler Gordon going to be returning soon? Because he did not practice today. I thought maybe he'd be limited. Ben Johnson kind of gave a smile when asked about him and TJ's status. So you kind of didn't know if that was leaning one way or the other. Obviously, neither did practice. But Gordon did not tweet. He posted this photo on his IG story. And if you see in the bottom corner right there, the kind of the yellow loading bar, that to me, that's like a clear kind of signal like, hey, I'll be back soon. I'm loading in, if you will. But he's been dealing with this hamstring, did not practice today. Is a lot going to change between now and Sunday? I'll say this. If he were able to go, I think this would be a game he'd be really helpful because Brock Bowers operates out of the slot quite a bit. Kyler Gordon would get some matchups on him. And so does Tre Tucker, the speedy wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, both of whom I would say are 2 of their top 3 targets along with Jacoby Myers. Tucker's a guy who can take the top off the defense. Bowers, obviously a physical player who operates in the intermediate areas of the field for Geno Smith in that passing attack. And Kyler Gordon would be tasked at times with guarding each of these guys. So he'd get those matchups, and you would like his chances much better than, a linebacker or Nick McLeod or even one of your safeties in all likelihood. So it'd be nice to get him back for this game. I'm not really expecting it. I definitely am not expecting TJ back. And I wouldn't rush TJ either because I think Noah Sewell's played pretty well. So I think him and Tremaine can hold it down until TJ's fully healthy. But Kyler Gordon compared to Nick McLeod, I think that's a pretty significant difference. So if he could go, that would certainly be nice. But at the same time, with the bye week lurking next week, I'm guessing you hold these two out. The guys dealing with the hammies, because if you sit them this week, well, then they get an extra 2 weeks, this week and next week, before having to play the following Monday against the Washington Commanders, because you'd have 15 days in between games. So that would be my guess on what happens there, but we'll see what the injury report looks like over the next couple of days. All right. Yeah, with that as well. And who was I missing? Oh, Colston Loveland. Just a quick thought on him. I think he's going to be kind of in the game time, Friday, Saturday realm of like, okay, is he going to go? Could he play in this game? Again, if it's a close call, you'd probably sit him with the bye week next week because you get the extra game. But again, this is a big game. Like, this isn't a game you can just be over the top cautious with. Like, if guys can play, they should play because you need to get back to 2-2. You're behind the 8 ball, like Ben said. You got to get back to 500 here. So hopefully they're able to do that. Now, these 3 players were limited. Cole Kmet with the groin, I'm expecting him to be fine, unless he got banged up in practice, and this is like a Karan situation where he was full to start, then got banged up. So I guess we'll keep an eye on tomorrow, but I'm guessing Kmet will be fine. DeAndre Swift dealing with the hip. And then Jalen Jones limited with the hamstring. He's been DNP the last week and a half or so. So it'd be nice to have him available on game day because, remember, they had to elevate Dallas Flowers off the practice squad this past week. So if Jones can go, he can help contribute on special teams and be one of your backup corners in this game. All right, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears now. We got plenty to come this week leading up to kickoff against the Las Vegas Raiders, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll have a video up in the morning, plus our Thursday live show, so be sure to join us for that. Bear down.